we don't have a lot to talk about today in Transformer news. We do have the reveal of a TF1 Orion Pax backpack. Hot Topic has showed off a friendship necklace with articulated Optimus Prime and Bumblebee figures that you could share with a friend for, I believe it's on sale right now and on the store website for $10 or so. But the big takeaway today is Hasbro Transformers event that was being held in Australia actually yielded a little bit of information about the future of the brand. Just a little bit if you kind of like read in between the lines of what's going on here. Toy Reel was a YouTube channel that did a interview and attended the event, and they had a pretty good report. And they interviewed 2 reps from Hasbro Australia and New Zealand. And while most of the stuff that was said in these interviews were pretty corporate safe, you know, these people don't want to lose their jobs, especially Hasbro Australia isn't going to be the ones that are going to be doing any big reveals or anything when Hasbro Rhode Island is, you know, watching. And there's very clearly a lot of hard cuts that are protecting the interviewed people so they don't say anything that gives away too much. But there was some interesting stuff said, so we're going to kind of go over those few little points and stuff like that if you don't want to watch the segment and stuff. But essentially, we had 2 individuals that were interviewed. First one was Rob Sheaf. He's the general sales manager of Hasbro Australia and New Zealand. And the only thing that he really talked about that really was of note was there was the mention of Hasbro with the layoffs and stuff and why that really happened. And what he said, which was kind of interesting, was the mention that the layoffs were needed to kind of help scale the brands, and specifically something like Transformers, to scale them like larger so that they need to have the extra resources in order to do that. I don't know what that means, because if you really think about it, wouldn't you need more employees for a larger scale? But I mean, it is what it is. It's the corporate part of it. He's sales manager. He doesn't want to lose his job. I get it, man. I get it. Then we had an interview which yielded more information from Kamyar. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, Kamyar. I apologize because I'll just butcher it and look stupid. He's the brand manager of Hasbro Australia and New Zealand. And he covered some other stuff that was kind of interesting. The first one being the mention of the core class price point. So it seems that there was supposedly a rumor going around that the core class was going to be discontinued. Now, this is kind of the first that I've really heard of something like that. I could kind of understand why they might think that, because if you look at the listings we've gotten thus far for 2025, core classes have been kind of absent, but that doesn't mean it's not there. It just means these are the early listings and we haven't seen those core classes on them yet. You know, it's like we don't see a Titan class on those early 2025 listings. Doesn't mean there isn't a Titan class. But so when he said that to them, there was another hard cut, which right away I was like, that's interesting. And then Kamyar said that, you know, they have new products planned, and if they remove something, there will be something new to fill the void that'll be new and enhanced for the fans. That's the quote there that he says. So are they getting rid of the core class price point? Does that really answer the question? I mean, in the past, yeah, we had the Legends price point, and then that was kind of replaced with the MicroMaster price point during Siege and Earthrise. And then, of course, Kingdom kind of introduced us the core class price point that we have up to this point. And then maybe we'll just see the next evolution of that in the future, or maybe we're just looking all way too much into it, and Kamyar just took the safe road of an answer. There also was a talk of the Transformers Reactivate video game and what's happening with that. And all Kamyar said is they're excited to show something brand new in 2025, which pretty much tells me that don't expect the game in 2024. And it seems like they might want to show you more footage and trailers in 2025 before we expect a game. I'm imagining, and I've heard this and that behind the scenes and rumblings, but I think that the Duke Nukem Forever thing is kind of happening to Transformers Reactivate, which is, you know, they make the game, they're about 80% complete or even 50% complete, and then a new engine comes around and new technology, and they kind of just want to scrap everything and move on to that new engine. And I think that's kind of what's going on with Transformers Reactivate, and that first trailer that we got will not represent anything of the final product. I just kind of hope it doesn't have a Duke Nukem Forever ending, if you know what I mean, in terms of success. But we'll see. It's something we'll have to wait till 2025. We're halfway through 2024, and if Kamyar is right on the nail here, don't expect anything in the next 6 months, or more. There also was a mention of Gamer Edition. Will we see Gamer Edition stuff outside of what we've already seen? Maybe some Armada video games or whatever. Very easy corporate answer, just saying, we expect to make more Gamer Edition stuff and stay tuned. So there wasn't really, again, a lot of these were very safe answers. The last one that they talked about was the mention of Tidal Wave being in stores as opposed to just being an online thing. Now, I don't know if this question was more fielded from the fact that Australia didn't have the Nemesis in retail and it was only an online thing, or is this a general question? I'm going to assume it's more an Australian thing because the Nemesis had a bit of a soft release here in the West. There was some stores that had it, but generally almost 99% of people got it online. So it's something where I guess this is kind of an answer that could reflect this too, but I imagine some places will get Tidal Wave. I mean, Tidal Wave has a whole bunch of now cross-selling with a upcoming Armada Galvatron, and it's on the packaging. So they're going to want to probably put product out there that could cross-sell with a leader class price point that'll also be on the shelves. That's what I imagine. That's the business side of it. But we will see. And that's it more or less. I mean, there wasn't much that was covered, but again, that core class thing, the mention of the Reactivate stuff, maybe that was stuff that slipped away and they didn't want to talk about it, but they were able to squeeze those out of them. Take from it what you will. We'll see what happens in the future, but we'll see what happens. I mean, Reactivate is getting kind of a very weird production date and schedule, and we're still waiting. Let me know what you think about all this, and we'll talk again really soon here on the Transformers Slag podcast. And as always, thank you for listening.